All right, here we go. Let's do this again. All right, y'all can see this. Cool. Yeah. Um, all right. So, I guess we got to start from the beginning here. So, um, we're going to create a new data catalog. Um, or sorry, a new data set within our data catalog. Right now, we have a few of them. I'm going to use actually one as my specific source here, but we can use also anything that's currently available in Iceberg. Um, but this, test foobar names and addresses is just a very simple UDM that already works. That is just, yeah, I mean, names, addresses, birth dates. Um, these comments are random things to try and trigger saves. Hey, what a weird bug. Um, that just happened just now. That wasn't me. Cool.
Wait, do
But yeah,
comments work or not work? Is that what you're trying to say?
oh, comments do work.
Oh, okay.
Comments do work. Yeah, I was just trying to use comments to trigger autosaves previously. So the last time I edited this, I put a lot of random comments in there.
Got
So
it. Cool,
just
cool.
to do things. Yeah. So let's make a new one because this one we can actually just use as a source. So if we make a new one, we go to the new data catalog.
Oh my god.
Um, Yes, this is the worst. This is the worst. Yeah, this is not great. We're gonna make example two because I was already making example one when I was speaking to myself. Um, when, when I thought I was still online with you guys. All right.
You don't have to make a new data set, right? It could be in an existing data set.
Yes, it could be in an existing one. I just wanted to make a new one
Oh, okay.
specifically for this. Yeah, so model name, Mac birth date. I don't know. All right. So with this, we can actually do let's see, test.foobar dot oh my god, something is going. I think my internet's weird. And also our UI is doing silly things here with the autosave. Names and addresses. So if we did this, let's just do max date. I think that's right. We don't have a lot of feedback. Let's double check. Um, but yeah, let's double check here. Is it date or birth date? Ah, birth date. Silly me. All right, so we do this. We hit save. Cool. Now we can run. So a run is actually like, executing this. If once scheduling works, this will just be like what you expect for the current, SQL mesh workflow. Um, so now you see this toast. This thing will run. And if I was to share my entire screen here, actually,
Are we missing a revalidate here? How come I don't see anything?
yeah, hold on. If I'm to share my entire screen, so this is the problem where it shows nothing except for success. So right now what it's doing is actually starting the asynchronous process to run stuff. So give me a second. I'm gonna share my entire screen so we can get maybe a more full experience here. Okay. So if you go into data model run, should be able to see, yeah, we're rewriting the model here, we're evaluating the model. there was an error in the max evaluation step. Column not found. Huh. Let's. Ah.
No,
Oh,
it's
weird.
date.
Still using it as date. Okay. This must be. Well, file that bug. Let's do this again. Okay. Yeah. So, like I said before, it only tracks successes, not failures, which is really annoying. And any other status it also doesn't report. So we do, but assuming that this all works, when I hit this button, we should see it pop up here. Okay, that's working. Yeah, shows up here. Finished rewriting that query. Now we're trying to evaluate it.
Man, in-app logs are going to be so nice.
They're going to be amazing. Sweet. In a second, it should show up. Yeah, there it is. Success. All right. Cool. Now Ikaro can take the floor. So the test example 2, max underscore birth date.
Okay, let me share the other screen then, where you would be testing the results of your query. I guess you could also see the sample query, but we haven't implemented the page yet. So we have a simple notebook, and we can already see it working if we query, for example, the test full bar name and addresses, as it's already getting the correct thing. But let's also check what's the, no, sorry,
It's
it's test
test.example 2.
2
Mm-hmm.
dot.
Max underscore birth date. Yeah, one word. Exactly.
So we can also, let's query directly using the path, which is organization, dataset name, and model name. Oh my God.
Oh my god. Oh no. Wait. What's the error? Query execution failed.
500? Didn't you say 500 was happening? If the table didn't exist?
It can if the table doesn't exist. Yeah. Huh.
Hmm.
Let me double check this here. Well, this is what we get. Live demos.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Hmm.
just get 500.
Schema not found.
Oh, could it be because of a number? Example 2?
Hmm? I don't think so.
No? Oh, I guess.
Hmm. No, the query right is actually happening correctly. It's just not actually finding that table. It's strange. Huh. Hold on. Well, I don't want to. Okay, give me like literally a second
Oh,
here.
oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Wait. Could it be a difference between producer Trino and consumer Trino?
Ah, 100% that is the case. Oh, oh,
Since
Do we
it's the
need
same, since it's the same iceberg catalog.
yeah. So, okay, I know exactly the question you're going to ask, Ray. Do we need producer and consumer Trino? And the answer is not anymore. I don't think. Um, I think it all becomes producer Trino.
Mhm.
And then every organization is managed by a specific branch. But this is actually really annoying. Then, huh? Uh, yeah. Because if you were to update the rewrite to point to the correct place in, you know, producer Trino, then it would get it correctly. But this is, huh? Did not think that one through. This is the funny bug. Well, it teaches me, I guess. Fun.
Yeah. Why don't we move on to the next demo? It sounds like
Yeah.
this just isn't ready yet, right?
Yeah. No. Cool. Okay. So the next thing that I just want to go over again, this one is a fairly um uh hopefully not too crazy, but I'm gonna share my screen. So let me share my entire screen. Okay. So um so like I said, today I was doing during stand up, today I had to do quite a bit of debugging with an issue that we had because of Dagster. Um the Helm chart that our Dagster Helm chart depends on, if you look in this YAML, was using this version 11 or 1.11.15 that had a schema that relies on some third party. That third party's been down since Christmas Eve, so we haven't been actually getting deploys happening correctly since then. Um, so we ended up fixing that today, but as part of that, we ended up actually updating basically the entire Flux installation. So you'll see this new thing here called Warehouse Bootstrap. Um, and so what we now have is this operator inside of the cluster itself. So previously you'd have to use the Flux like CLI to do a bootstrapping. Now instead of that, everything's all declarative. You just use this here to define exactly what you would like, for the installation of Flux, and then it just handles the upgrades and everything of that. So it's a lot more hands off, and it's declarative as almost everything else is. The one thing it is not reactive like the previous one, where if you wanted to change the branch from here, it's not. Flux is not actually monitoring this specific YAML file. This is just the bootstrap. So if you do want to do that, I think we can actually make that work later on in the future, but I didn't want to do that now because I didn't want to try and do that. But if you did actually need to, because we often do update the Flux instance, it'll appear if you go to all namespaces, it'll appear in the Flux system namespace here, and you should be able to edit it if you need to. Like if you look in this ref, so right now this is pointing to production. If I needed to point it to some, you know, debug or something like that, I can change that here. And as long as once I save this, it'll automatically do that. It actually makes it simpler than it was before, to be able to shift between these branches. But then everything else after that, it all works exactly the same. We're just on an updated version. So yeah, that's it really. Um, oh yeah, other details about how this was all set up is now here. So if this ever happens again that we need to uninstall Flux, we can easily reinstall through this README. So
What's I'm curious what gets lost doing it this way. Like there must be a reason why they have a CLI, right? Like why do it this way
yeah, so
default?
they built this Flux operator much later on. So this is a fairly recent thing, like within the last year and a half.
Oh, okay. So it's meant to
Mhm.
be an alternative.
Yes, it's meant to be an alternative. They now suggest it as part of the installation path, or one of the options they suggest instead of using the CLI.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
Right out. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Mine will be really quick. It's just to kind of memorialize it for our demos. But if you haven't been following, I posted on our blog posts. Sorry, I posted in our blog the Prosperous Software Movement blog. This went through many writes and rewrites over the winter holiday,
Hmm.
and then got published just before Christmas. And then I spent basically the entire week between Christmas and New Year's responding to people on Reddit, which was fun. But yeah, this I think, without going into the whole pitch here on the demo, yeah, give it a read. Feel free to comment in the Reddit. I think all the Reddits are still there. So if you search for it, you should be able to find it on two subreddits, both the FOSS and the free software subreddits, where people have been talking about it. It's a divisive issue. So, there's people that are really all for it, and there's people that are immediately jump to, oh, this will never work. But I don't know. Yeah, I think overall, like, this will never work is not actually like very constructive or very helpful, because it usually the criticisms is like, oh, this is too hard, as opposed to, oh, there's something fundamentally wrong with it. And so I find that very encouraging, honestly. And I think the next step, for as relevant to OSO and the community, is that I'm starting to write non-lawyer license drafts. And the hope here is to actually start with OSO itself and start relicensing some of the work that we've been doing. So this is moving forward one way or another. And definitely very open to feedback. Wanna see how this is gonna work for a broader set of projects. Curious if folks have any questions over like what happened over the holidays.
Yeah, I was following along with some of the Reddits. I really should have actually been responding. I was just kind of reading through what people had to say. It is very divisive. But hey, that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, really good thing. This chart's relatively new. I feel like this was like the best way that I could think of to actually describe what the difference is.
Yeah, that's good.
And when you realize that source available like cuts off a lot of pathways for people, like you literally can't run, I don't know, MetaMask or Uniswap commercial environment without asking for permission. You really start to realize that, like, oh, I understand why people complain that source available is not open source. You really cut away at a lot of the freedoms that really make open source good. So I think our intention is to try to preserve as many freedoms as possible, just give back if you make it, right? Which I do think is pretty different. And I know people keep talking about how there's, a giant graveyard of licenses that exist. But
I don't think that's a reason not to try. So,
not only that, I'm like, given that there is hundreds, thousands of licenses of that have never succeeded, I'm still semi-surprised that no one's actually done this exact thing. Because I don't think that, I don't know. It's like such a simple idea. I don't think that it's like that groundbreaking, to be frank. But like it does seem like no one's actually tried this in earnest before, which I do find kind of exciting.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think the whole profit left idea is just, I mean, I haven't seen a license do that, right? I've seen individuals attempt to do these kinds of things, but nothing that is codified, right?
I also didn't probably should have gotten more feedback before I started renaming everything, but I currently calling it PPL, Public Prosperity License. That was actually a suggestion from Mosh, to focus to add to, I mean, like 3 letters is good, but to try to make it more information dense. And so the word software doesn't really help you.
Yeah.
And so we want to keep prosperous or prosperity somewhere, but you want to add either the word open or public somewhere. So, and yeah, I don't know. This is the current tentative name, but obviously all these things are very easily changeable.
I mean, I feel like maybe there could even be a play on a PBC and like a PBL, a public benefit license.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this PPL and GPL also sounds close-ish. So it's like yeah, I don't know. I don't know what we're trying to do here. I think we might need to experiment a little bit and see what sticks.
Yeah, without getting into like the wordsmithing, it seems it's unclear what prosperity is modifying. Is it modifying public, or is it modifying, say, something else?
Well, prosperity is a noun. It doesn't modify anything, right?
I guess I'm trying to, anyway, to me, it kind of implies that you're trying to make the public more prosperous. That's how I read this.
Yeah, well, we can bike shed this over a poll in the future when we actually publish it. But yeah, TBD. what we'll call the license. Cool. Any other discussions? All right, short and sweet. Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, I think our goals are still the same, which is like, yes, this flow is the baseline flow that we really need to get right. But I think beyond that, I think we should aim a little higher for next demo day, which is not just that we can show that it works at all in a contrived setting, but that you know, Carl has tried it on some real workflows, and we've done some not fully polished, but some amount of polishing by next demo day. I think that would be like a good goal. Like, I think as soon as possible, it should still be the case that our intention here is that Carl is like, it's not for the demo. It's like, it's for Carl to actually use. So, you know, hopefully sometime this week, we cross the chasm towards like real workflows, real work product going into UDMs, and going into static models. And then, you know, yeah, starting the process of debugging and polishing common things. I mean, just seeing what I've seen today, obviously, yeah, there's already a handful of things that we know we need to fix, but yeah, would be good to 2 weeks from now be more, as opposed to just showing the existence, like be more along the dimension of
usage.
Yeah, usage, like real usage. Like show us real UDMs that Carl's doing in production.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think as well, like, you know, with when Javi comes back and all of the data ingest is wired up, like, yeah, we could hopefully be really using this, right? So, like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, actually, perhaps the best early user would be Ken right now, because he's trying to do his own version of this. And since he doesn't have the same access that we have to run Dagster and so on, I feel this would actually be very useful for him to schedule things and see what comes out of it and so on.
As long as the models that he's doing are not incremental.
Yeah, incremental models are the things that don't work and won't work for a while. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
I think chem work might be too big for this. Like, probably everything he does is incremental, right? It's on like GitHub. Or...
Well, it's kind of hybrid, maybe a longer conversation, but the open dev data is a full model. And now that we are going to be unioning that somehow on our existing GitHub data, we're either going to have to restate or decide to have some events be full as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as there is some point in the pipeline where we know from this model and everything downstream from there, we can comfortably say it's going to be full.
Right.
Yeah, Ken should use this. I think also, like, there is something here about, oh, I'm like writing my model, but I'm writing it blind right now. And
Yeah.
like, I know we talked about, okay, potentially being able to up convert an existing SQL cell in a notebook into a model, but I don't think that's it, right? Like that might be part of the solution, but I don't think that is the only part of the solution, because as I'm writing my model, I want to preview something, right?
Yes. I think the really nice thing would be, as you're writing the model, like just execute a query. Just execute it as a query. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
or
live, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, that would be really cool. Kind of like Google Instant Search. Like, as you're typing characters, you're auto executing the query, but with a limit or something like
Oh
that.
my God. If I'm auto executing the query, I don't know about that. I would, but
Maybe
yeah.
that would be hard if you have a lot of CTEs. Then
Yeah, it could be.
you.
Well,
It could be.
you can parse everything, but even then,
Yeah.
like you start limiting everything, at some point it gets useless.
My God, my dream feature, and maybe this is really dumb, but like we write a lot of CTEs in our SQL, and I feel like it's a very common thing. I want to be able to hover over a CTE and see a preview of that as a data frame. Like, I want to know what that CTE is doing.
Like, I actually, okay, this might be a controversial statement. I don't understand the point of CTEs. Like, I feel like there's a feature that we should have that auto converts every CTE into a model. Like, and then you get that preview, right? Like, what is what is
I'm
the
okay
point
with
of CTE? Why do we do it?
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I'm also 100% okay with that, right? Yeah, because every select statement is essentially just like, some functional set of things, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and if you don't want
deterministic.
to, if you don't want to materialize, if you don't want to persist, then make it a view, right? But why do we have CTEs in the first place?
Mostly, I think we have used it as an organizational tool, to collect logic within a given single like query, but so that we don't have to make a bunch of models. But I mean, if models are really, really cheap, in that way, right? Or you can just reference, I guess.
And in the future, we might want to have better multi-model views. Like maybe I want to be able to see two views side by side, or two models in tabs or something, and I can easily switch between them or something like that. Like I can totally see convenience features like that can help. Because at that point, what is literally the difference between two side by side panes, or two a top and down pane, as opposed to I have to scroll all the way up to the top of this 100-line model to be able to see the CTE? Like, what? I don't know. Is that really like worth it? I don't know. I'm curious if Carl has an answer here. Maybe I'm being too naive.
Sorry. I mean, I think it's like anything else where people are very opinionated about this, and I could imagine, I think it's fine as a feature potentially that you can easily materialize or save any CT as a view. I think that historically, it's just annoying having more models that you need to, name and keep track of, and so on. And I think I've always wanted to have, the logic that you need end to end to run something be contained in one query, as opposed to chaining queries together, or having there be different models that if one thing breaks, it will affect things downstream. So that's, yeah, I guess that would be the pattern that I'm used to. I'm guessing there'd be some people that have very strong opinions about this, though, that would not like it.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think it's fundamentally a problem when you have a language that's this flexible. People have different practices, right? I think it's probably similar to how like some developers have a lot of anonymous functions when they write JavaScript, and some have fewer, and there's a spectrum of everything in between. Anyway, cool. Well, till next time.
Time to write some issues.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Cool.